Hey traders, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. Today is Monday, November 9th. It's Rod with Powell Group. And in today's video, we're going to discuss SPY and the overall market blasting on the new news from Pfizer. We'll cover that in just a second, but market soars to new highs and we got slammed into the close. I did a midday market update. You can check out my video from earlier today, but I was basically warning people that we could potentially see a sell-off. And that's exactly what we got. We saw a 15-minute bear flag on the S&P 500, the SPY ETF, into the end of the day. So just before we jump into today's content, please make sure to smash the like. It shows me some support. And consider subscribing to the channel and tick the bell. You'll be notified when I go live. And if you enjoy this market perspective, then you may want to be notified when I go live next. So taking a look at the news and events for today. So we'll take a look at Pfizer's news. So they said that it's more than 90% effective. It's pretty ambiguous, but I guess people are taking that as extremely bullish. To me, I think everything with Biden potentially winning, and we're seeing all these, it's basically, it feels like they're just trying to suck in retail and basically get them to pass the buck off to the retail investor. Because I don't think that it's gonna take a while before this is even released. And are there gonna be people who trust it? I mentioned in my video today that the CEO of Pfizer basically said that he was going to take it to curb any, doubts or concerns about that, so that he would take it himself, so that people were comfortable. But personally, I wouldn't take it. I know people who don't even take the regular flu. So, and that's been around for ages, that shot. So if people don't take the actual flu shot, then who's going to take the, this flu shot or this sickness shot? So it's, to me, I think it's going to be a completely different issue once. What's going to happen when, you get the people who are anti-shots versus people who say that they need it in order to go back to work and that type of thing. So it's going to be very, very interesting over the next few weeks, in my opinion. We saw that America topped 10 million cases, as well as local officials weigh lockdowns. So obviously with Pfizer's news, that's kind of offsetting that a little bit, but could also be perfectly timed as well, so that, the market didn't tank. But we saw David Bossie, head of Trump's effort to challenge the election results, has tested positive. So he's challenging the election results and basically contesting it. And now he's tested positive. So we'll see if hopefully he's okay and everything, don't wish anything bad upon anyone. So hopefully he makes a full recovery and quickly. Just 2 days ago was tapped with the handle President Donald Trump's effort to challenge the results of the presidential election has now tested positive. His diagnosis was disclosed hours after news broke that Trump Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson tested positive as well, and days after White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows was revealed to be positive. So this is a trend that's not really going in a good direction at the moment. So moving on from that, we saw that there's been no transition in place after Biden's supposed victory. I also mentioned in my video today that there's been a lot of conspiracies, a lot of allegations, a lot of basically rumors going around. We don't know if it's true yet, but they're saying that there was deceased people who actually voted. Some people had been dead for 10 years, some over 20 years. And apparently there was thousands of these deceased and dead people who voted. There was also a USPS truck driver that drove into Canada with some absentee ballots, and long story short, he took a wrong turn. So this could be far from over, and the market needs to basically wake up and realize the threat of this. And I know through watching Trump over the last 4 years, he's not going to go down without a fight. So we could see some civil unrest, some rioting, that type of thing. And it could take until January before more stimulus relief is finalized. So, and this comes as cases top 10 million. So even as Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has vowed to make the issue a priority now, it could take until January for them to come to a consensus. So You can take a look at this in your own time, but I'm not going to read over that completely right now. But here's what President Joe Biden wants to include in his new stimulus bill. And I'm just going to skip through this. So he wants to increase Social Security payments, make COVID medical treatment free, paid sick leave, stimulus checks, student loan forgiveness. Almost got away without saying that word, but moving on from that, McDonald's to make its own McPlant items. So we saw that they were testing Beyond's, probably just testing it to find out about it and then go and make their own. So whatever you do, we can do better. So Beyond Meat took a hit today. We saw that Canopy and Aurora were outlining. So I did a video on this as well today. You can check out Canopy and Aurora earnings. You can just search my channel for that, but they're ramping up their US plans as legalization momentum is heating up in the United States. So two of Canada's biggest companies reported quarterly revenue results that beat expectations. And executives at CGC and Aurora were both quick to discuss their thoughts on Monday as how their companies could take advantage of the growing support of cannabis legalization that extends into the US. So David Klein, the CEO of Canopy, is very excited about the THC market. And this was during the conference call. We already developed a US ecosystem that positions us as a hemp and cannabis powerhouse when, not if, US is permissibly permissibility happens. So it's not a question of if, it's a question of when in his mind. So again, you can take a look at this article in its entirety, but definitely some good info in there. We also saw that Hexo appointed Trent McDonald into a permanent role. So that's a CFO. He was just there as an interim role, but that has now been confirmed official, and it came after Health Canada's approval. And that's pretty much all we had for news and events for today. So let's take a look at some charts on SPY first and foremost. So to begin the day, we obviously we were up about 5%, over 5% from the low on Friday. And that's a huge gap up, massive, massive news. QQQ didn't see as huge as a gap up. And we did flush into the pre-market and we went right back up near the all-time highs. But 299, obviously, 300 psychological is a very big brick wall at the moment, to say the least. But SPY huge gap up, ultimately went to fill the gap by the end of the day. So wouldn't be surprised if we see a potential 5-minute bear flag or a potential gap down to completely fill that gap. And that's down here at the 351 range. And so to begin the day, we saw obviously some profit taking into the open, and we tried to change that 5-minute trend, but we just rejected for most of the morning. We were being rejected at EMA 12 resistance. It was a nice visual guide. And then we had this 5-minute uptrend confirm, and we drew the 5-minute support trend line as well. And we were looking to get over EMA 12. We passed it, we confirmed the 5-minute uptrend, but then we lost the uptrend and we lost the EMA 12, and then ultimately respected that as resistance for the rest of the trading day. And that's why I was remaining skeptical. We also had a 15-minute bear flag as well from the high of the day to 362 here, and bear flag confirmed right into the end of the day. If we measure out, I called this as well, if we measure out that bear flag, it's perfect, spot on. Like, couldn't have asked for a more picture perfect bear flag on SPY. And congrats to the bears into the end of the close there. That was obviously a bear play, and the bull trade had already come and gone right from the open. And from there, it was just bears in full control of the short-term time frame on SPY. But 5-minute downtrend into the end of the day. Likely look to fill that gap tomorrow is what I would anticipate. But we are now in an hourly downtrend as well. So we could potentially be looking at daily consolidation, a very bearish daily candle as well. And we have huge amount of bear volume. Just zooming in, see if any of that was it's mostly bear. So that's very notable. Huge sell volume into the end of the day. And increasing sell volume there on the 1 minute. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a gap down tomorrow and more more news coverage around Trump and what he's potentially going to do. So is he going to make a comeback? We'll see. But moving on from that, so we'll keep an eye on the futures as well overnight tonight, but I'm expecting a gap down personally. We also have EMA 12 support on deck on the 4 hour. I think we lost it on the 1 hour. Yep. Lost it into the end of the day, and 4 hour EMA 12 has been holding since all the way back at the beginning of November. So we could potentially get a bounce off there for a hourly oversold. Could potentially get 2 hourly oversold tomorrow if we see a gap down, which would be, in my opinion, a buy the dip opportunity, because usually after a huge move, we can expect hourly oversold to give us a decent bounce. But even 5-minute oversold today on SPY, coming off that new all-time high at 366, had a perfect entry here. If you would have entered at 358-ish or 359, just as it touched 5-minute oversold, you would have been able to quick flip it for $1 profit, a little over $1. So quick 0.5%-ish, roughly, give or take. In this case, take. But that's where I see SPY going into tomorrow. And just taking a look at SPY on the weekly. So obviously we're above the 10-week moving average. The MACD is looking to cross bullish. Stochastic still lagging though. Taking a look at SPY on the daily moving averages, we're well above the 50, 100, 200, not a surprise there. And same with the weekly. So MACD trending up as well, but huge bearish candle to end the day. Wouldn't be surprised again if we see some more selling into tomorrow and just profit taking and healthy consolidation. So moving on to QQQ, like I said, with QQQ to begin the day, with SPY gapping up 5%, QQQ is down from 299 all the way to 289, so lost 10 points. That's pretty massive. That's a pretty massive drop, 3%, while SPY was blasting to new highs. A little bit of a red flag that tech is kind of, showing us some red flags when they've been leading us the entire move up. So it could be some rotation into growth and value stocks away from obviously the big tech $1 trillion club. Then we were right back up 3% and double topped, formed a 5-minute downtrend, formed a 5-minute uptrend, triple top at 299. And then that's when we saw the reversal and obviously some significant consolidation. And we struggled with EMA 12 in the 15-minute. We were struggling with the 5-minute. So right from the open, we got over it. And we didn't confirm that 5-minute trend change though. I would like to see us confirm the 5-minute trend change while holding and breaking through EMA 12. We didn't get that. So that's when we just expected a potential reversal. That's exactly what we got, and then rejected ultimately right into the end of the day, similar to SPY. So EMA 12 was my visual guide on a lot of names today. It helped me big time. And it's pretty much all I have for QQQ. So we are in a hourly downtrend as well. So we could potentially be looking at daily consolidation and daily a little bit of an upper wick and very bearish engulfing candle from Friday. Huge volume as well. Most sell volume we've seen since all the way back in September sell-off. So that's where we stand on QQQ. Taking a look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's recovering. I made a couple of trades on Bitcoin over the weekend. After we hit 16,000, I played the hourly oversold bounce. So we were well oversold on the hourly. We were almost close to the teens. I entered on that oversold area, and I sold around the 15.5 range. Sold a little early, but ultimately still cash, just waiting. I may consider another position if we break above 16,000, but from my average back around 9,000, I'm not looking to get back any gains at this point. And we also saw a huge sell-off in gold today, and Bitcoin wasn't spared either. We dropped over 6% on Bitcoin today when gold dropped. So just bringing up the gold chart. So nasty, nasty daily candle on gold. We saw that shortly after the vaccine, the Pfizer news, and the market opened, it was, let's just take a look actually at that. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So about 10 hours ago. So yeah, we were looking at around just right as soon as the market opened, essentially right before the market opened. Yeah, we just dropped like a rock, like a gold rock, and lost 6% in the matter of a little over 4 hours. I don't think I've ever seen that on gold before, aside from the March lows. But that's a huge drop, and wouldn't be surprised. We could potentially be looking at an hourly bear flag here as well. So keeping in mind the gold chart, because things, as soon as that happened, Bitcoin started to pull back. SPY didn't really react right away, but just taking a look at this weekly chart. So we are back within this weekly descending triangle. Maybe it was a potential bull fake out, as we did change the weekly trend with a higher low and higher high. We had a new weekly higher low established at 1860. We lost that today, broke to 1850. So a little bit of a choppy range here, and very, very bearish day for gold. Not really sure if anybody knows why, other than the potential likely because of stimulus hopes going down due to a potential cure with Pfizer. But if you know anything else, let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate that. But it's all about 1848 support. If we lose 1848, there's no support down here until 1670. I've been calling that out for a while now. And we also have the RSI trending down. Could potentially be a monthly bull flag, but the more we stay within this range and the descending triangle, the more I'm convinced that it's going to be a bearish outcome. And like I said, we could go sideways for another week or two and potentially see a bear break of this pattern, and a measured move was take us right down to around 1670 support on gold. So that's where we stand on gold. Like I said, it could be an hourly bear flag, so we'll be watching that into the rest of the day and after hours and into pre-market tomorrow. Let's take a look at the DXY, so the dollar index on the monthly. Got a lot of lines there. I'll clear that up. So it could be a monthly bear flag as well. Taking a look at the weekly just looking for a higher low compared to 91.74. Nothing really changed there. Taking a look at the daily bounce is underway. We had a high of 92.96 today, even as SPY was ripping higher to all-time highs. Saw a little bit of divergence there. It's very odd, in my opinion. Today was a very odd day for the dollar. But taking a look at the 4-hour, we were in a 4-hour downtrend. We broke the 4-hour downtrend, but we're not in a 4-hour uptrend yet. So we need to set a clear higher low and higher high to be in a 4-hour uptrend, which we have yet to do. So we did break the high of the previous candle, so it looks like the daily bounce is underway, but to have utmost confidence, we'll want to see a 4-hour trend change. We do have EMA 12 support rate at 92.58, so potentially back test 92.58, set a higher low, and then we'll look to the resistance, most important resistance of 92.96. If we break that with convincing follow through, then we could potentially see a 4-hour trend change. EMA 12 and 26 looks to be curling as well. Taking a look at the hourly chart, you could consider that in an uptrend, kind of choppy. But like I said, 92.96 going to be the level to break. Looking to form a new support level here at 92.69 as the last hourly higher low. And it looks like we are confirming a 5-minute uptrend here. So we need follow through, but it looks like our hourly higher low has been set. We'll want to see the 15-minute change its trend as well to be confident in the hourly higher low. Yeah, I take that back. I'd like to see the 15-minute, not the 5-minute. I'd like to see the 15-minute confirm. But you can see that we're just essentially a little bit of a falling wedge pattern here. And we were in a 15-minute downtrend. So now bulls are looking to get as big as a bounce as possible. They'll look to resistance at 92.91 on the 15-minute time frame. If they can get over that, then it's again 92.96. But like I said, haven't changed the 15-minute trend yet. We'll want to do that. Bulls will want to change that trend to be confident that the hourly higher low is now established at 92.69. So I'll speed up for the rest of the way here. So let's just take a look at IWM Russell 2000 ETF. So very bearish day, huge bear volume, most bear volume we've seen since, again, back in September. NQ futures, I'm going to skip that for right now. We don't have enough data. Nothing's really changed in that. So SMH, the semiconductors, again, most bear volume since September sell-off. And very bearish candle on the daily. Didn't break the low of yesterday, so the low of today is going to be extremely important. And if we break that tomorrow, then obviously daily consolidation is likely underway, but bulls have a ton of space, an absolute ton of space. Same with IWM, same with QQQ, same with SPY. We all have a ton of space to form a daily high or low. QQQ, though, broke the low of Friday, so obviously very, very different from SPY. SPY had a daily bull flag and broke to new highs. So we now have a daily support level at 347.65 with SPY in a daily uptrend, but very bearish candle there on the daily, and same with QQQ. But SMH, tons of room to form a daily high or low. QQQ notably weak in comparison to our other broader sectors. US oil, so we changed the daily trend with a higher low and higher high. Most important daily support now is 37.09, and then we'll look to resistance at 41.87. Already did gold, silver. Didn't see as much as a sell-off today as gold, so that's notable. XBI, the biotech sector, bearish candle on the daily. So we do have a higher low here at 119.09, and we also have EMA 12 support at 118.32. XHB, the home builders ETF, so that we saw a huge, huge slam as well. Very bearish, huge daily sell volume since all the way back in March. So that is notable. XLE, upper wick, but bullish day, huge bull volume on the energy sector. The most bull volume we've seen potentially ever. That's notable. I know Suncor was up a lot today. I sold my position in Suncor. It was up about 30%. So I was happy with the gains on that. But XLE in a daily uptrend, huge gap to fill. 7% gap. That is insane. So we do have a higher low established here at 28.81. I'd actually say 28.77 would be the most important support on the daily for XLE. And then we'll look at 34.38 as the next resistance. We did get to 33.79 today and then pulled back, but huge, huge volume there. Let's just take a look at how that closed into the end of the day. So we did have ramping of sell volume into the end of the day. So going to be interesting to see how that opens tomorrow. Up 2 pennies after hours. XLF, financial sector, finished the day with a doji, a little bit more of an upper wick here, huge, huge volume. Most volume we've seen since June, it looks like. Approaching daily overbought. Let's take a look into the end of the day as well. So also got slammed into the end of the day. That's why we saw SPY sell off as much as it did, as all sectors were trending to new lows and going in the same direction at the same time. XLRE, the real estate trust, huge upper wick, closed with a bearish reversal candle after a huge gap up, huge, huge amount of sell volume since all the way back in July. But we did change the daily trend with a higher low and higher high. Most important support is 35.50 going into tomorrow. Pretty flat after hours here though. XLV on the daily, bearish reversal candle. Well, not really a reversal candle, but sort of expected when we blast off to new highs. We see some profit taking, but again, I'm starting to see some red flags at this point. Most important support on XLV is 109.21. But tons of space to form. If we do break that support level, tons of support, tons of room to form another higher low. Could even bounce off potential EMA 12 there at 107.36. So that's where we stand on the overall broader market. Apple got slammed today. They have an event tomorrow as well. We got a few different earnings coming out tomorrow. I know T-God reports tomorrow. Just taking a look at the stock channel here. So I think we got McDonald's. Anyway, there's a ton of earnings this week as well. None that I really was looking at. Obviously, Aurora and Canopy is earnings today. If you haven't checked that out, check out my video from earlier today. But essentially, they beat their estimates. So I'm going to be looking forward to T-Gods tomorrow. And also, we'll just do a quick check into some of these individual tickers here. So we did have Head and Shoulders forming on Amazon. So let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon was down 5% today, so that's notable. Jeff Bezos also sold $3 billion worth of shares. We could still be forming this weekly Head and Shoulders pattern. How did Microsoft do today? 218 down 2%. Could also be within a Head and Shoulders, so we didn't break 232. So we did break the high of the right shoulder at 225.21. We had 228.12 today. So it is looking to negate that weekly Head and Shoulders, but as of right now, I would consider that still a possibility. And like I said, Apple got slammed today, looking like it wants to continue this weekly equilibrium. So we could potentially be seeing our weekly lower highs being set. And just looking for a daily higher low, tons of room to form that daily higher low as well. Taking a look at Tesla, down 2%. So started off very bullish with the rest of the market, and then sold off down about 7% from the high of the day. But Apple and Tesla still struggling to get over 500 and 130. That's very notable for me as well. I'll definitely be surprised if Tesla can get back above 500 and if Apple can get back above 130. But clearly some rotation into other sectors right now. Just take a look at my watch list here. Fiverr down 18%, JMIA down 15%, Docu 14%, Shop 13%. So obviously the stay-at-home names are getting hit a lot harder than the value stocks and the growth stocks, the recovery stocks, because of the Pfizer news. That's to be expected. Air Canada was up 28% today, Suncor up 24%, BA 13%. So obviously the recovery stocks are making a comeback. DDD, Disney had earnings, positive reaction to earnings, $142 per share, up almost 12% on the day. DDD up over 10. Uber reaching all-time highs, I believe, on the news of the renewed hopes of reopening. Yep, brand new all-time high, potential blue skies. Uber's a name I've been watching for a while now. There was such an awesome entry from back here. So obviously the low is of March, 38.28 weekly EQ. We held that support. That double bottom was the go signal for sure. You'd be up over 60% off that double bottom. If you would have entered 28.48 near 28.39 support, set your stop just below 28.39, you would have never gotten stopped out. But absolute rip show here. No daily high or low from all the way back down at 32%. Could drop 33% and still just be looking for a daily higher low. So keep that in mind if you are trying to invest. It's different when you're trading or swing trading, that type of thing. But just keep that in mind that we could see a lot of downside. So taking a look at the marijuana sector. So we saw ACB up big again today, 14%. We were up fairly big today. I'm not going to cover everything here just because of time. I know this video is getting a little bit longer, but we did see that we sold off with the rest of the market. So the correlation seems to be back. And in my opinion, I think that has to do with a lot of people wondering about whether or not Trump is going to challenge this, whether we're seeing the election results were rigged, there was deceased people who were voting, and if we see any potential clawbacks or any potential reversal in the election results, that could very bearish short term for the MJ sector and the cannabis sector as a whole. So both US and Canadian sectors. So CGC up 24.71 after hours. But let's just take a look on the daily. We had a bearish candle there. And then again, EMA 12 was a brick wall all day, and a nice visual guide, and held up better than most, but we did hit almost $27 pre-market. So again, congrats to the bulls. Obviously seeing a huge gap up and hype with Biden winning the presidency and potential of US legalization and decriminalization at the federal one level. So that's pretty much where we stand. Again, maybe I'll do a checkup on a video later on or tomorrow on MJ, but like I said, right now we're just looking for daily higher lows. We have the last daily higher low at 1832. So anything above 1832, we're just looking for a daily higher low. We're in a daily uptrend on CGC. We're technically just looking for a weekly higher low as well. We haven't had a weekly higher low from all the way down at 1383. So that's notable, but we are in a monthly uptrend with a low, high, higher low, and higher high. So that's the first time that's happened since the all-time highs, and the first time we've gotten above EMA 26 and EMA 12 on the monthly since the all-time high. So that's notable. No major red flags, just looking for some healthy consolidation. We did get above 15-minute EMA there into the end of the day, or EMA 12 on the 15-minute. So that's notable. And taking a look at USMJ, so Chiron Sciences down 25% today. So they're offering shares, dilution it looks like. So they're down 24%. Congrats to the Bears. And BAM up 20% today. Congrats to the Bulls. I was in a position in BAM. I actually sold my position in BAM today. Wasn't liking the market rolling over. May have potentially sold a little too soon, but I would potentially buy that back tomorrow. We'll see how things shape up into the day tomorrow. Ian, huge bounce up over, I think, 200% from the lows. It was at 7 cents. I think it hit as high as 21 today, 24, wow. Well, like a 300% move from the lows. CXXI up 10%, so a little bit of laggard names here at play today. And the huge MSOs, like Trulieve, Cureleaf, up nominal amounts today. They are green, up 3%. Trulieve, I believe, hit an all-time high today. 35.08 was the previous all-time high, and we hit 36 today. So blue sky breakout, congrats to the Bulls. Earnings coming up on November 17th, so that's definitely going to dictate whether or not we see continuation or more of a consolidation pattern going into the end of the year. And obviously the US legalization is going to have a big impact on that as well. So we'll wrap this up. So again, in summary, just looking for some healthy consolidation on most names, and we'll continue to monitor SPY into tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a gap down. Personally, I have shorts. I shorted the open again on SPY and QQQ. I'm still holding some positions short. I covered some of those positions in the end of the day and bought actually a little bit more Hexo, bought a little bit of CGC, and taking advantage of those moves lower. But again, be on the lookout for potential backlash from Trump and some potential just mainstream news coverage basically saying that it may have been rigged in Biden's favor. And we need to see that it's just rumors at this point. We need to wait until the data comes out, and we need to see if there's any actual hard concrete evidence that this did happen and how the market's going to react to it and what sort of implications and consequences may come out of this. So hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, make sure to like, subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. And I'll see you tomorrow for another daily market update. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and best of luck into the rest of the week.